you. Now they will come with guns, terrorizing our people. And all these people, the politicians could always, they will kill our own people. 14 people and counting were gone down last time. And our so-called Sarikin Fulani of Imo State, he came up to say that these are criminals. But look at the main terrorists. Let me ask you, just be honest. Can they see an Igbo man or two Igbo men with AK-47 in Sokoto terrorizing Fulani there? And they will just arrest him and give him to police? No. Yeah, they will cut him piece by piece, and from there they will start burning Igbo people's shops, stealing them. That is the reality. But they are committing all these things in our land with impunity because of the character of the primitive bush character of the indigenous people, mostly the Igbos. Let me be in position of that power. Who is this person to command? Who is Master Chicken to command? It's me. I should command. Leno, I'm not here. That's why I say it doesn't matter. A primitive person is a primitive person. It doesn't matter where you live. You can live in any developed country. You are still a primitive animal because of your character. You always want more. You want more, liver twist. Always more. You want more. Primitive accumulation syndrome. That is what is worrying you because you are primitive. You are fragile. You want more. Anyway, it's a sickness. I see. It's a disease. Before God and man, yeah, with the disease. It doesn't matter what the person has. What is accumulated, he has accumulated. All that you need it. You want it. You have to go to food. He doesn't eat. He wants it. Kleptomania. Kleptomania. It's very sad indeed. It's very sad. Let me also read this news. Did you buy Super Tucano jets for terrorists or Biafra agitators, Methodist prelate which queries Buhari government over alarming insecurity? Yes, this man is talking. Do you know why? Because he suffered it directly. They kidnapped him, he suffered it directly. And in his statement, public press release, press statement, I heard him say that before I never knew anything about kidnapping. Oh, this is my first time. Because indeed, they want something to happen to them. Now, the time they, if they are lucky to escape, is that time now they will be talking in their own coded way. These people, this is one of the people, he never talk about anything, the injustice, the Fulani killing in our land. Thank God that many of them now, they are secretly calling and apologizing to IPOB that, I am not like this. So now after many years, because he affects you direct. Do you see it? Because he affects him direct. That is a pure Igbo man. Is this not primitive character? Let me say it. Is this not primitive? Because civilized character is when you see evil, you see injustice. Even if that injustice is being committed against your enemy, against your personal enemy, you say, no. I will not, because this person is my enemy, now you are committing this injustice against him or her, I will support you. No. Our enmity is different. But you fight the injustice. That is the civilization. That is what is called civilization. But you see monkeys, they want that thing to happen to them. As it never happened to them, they are. Now, you merit it. What are you talking? Now, propaganda. Propaganda, you see. They will call it propaganda. I had in WhatsApp voice, one woman cried that the husband of her sister just died. Why? Whether it's in Abuja, I don't know. Anyway. He said for eating this watermelon. Poisoned the watermelon that he bought from Abuki. And the person that sent to me, I told him, you know what I told him? I said, these are Biafra. He said the man, every time, if he's coming back from work, if he finish work, he will go, he pass and buy watermelon from a bookie, come, be eating, you know, they will slice it and he will be eating as his wife is preparing food in the kitchen. He will be in the parlor watching television and be eating. He eat this one now because the man all the poison. How many years have we been shouting? Be careful in the zoo what you buy from a booking. How many years? There are things you contend for your safety. On your own, he have died the pay. Maybe the person, he doesn't even listen. He doesn't listen. When he hears something, he say, nah, propaganda back. Propaganda on what pay. Now, what was he? Maybe all can on a mortuary. With this small time, I'll go, he's gone and gone forever. So, if you don't believe, if you cannot listen, you will hear it in a hard way, very hard way. That time it will be too late. That is what this primate is saying. He's doing. He's lucky to escape because he paid 100 million. Today he's talking now. You buy this. But if we are talking before they did to him this, he'll be saying, oh boy, these are refrats. These are 100. I beg, spreading propaganda. Nigeria is our last. But today he has seen it in a hard way. Are you going to wait until they cut off your neck like Onyara? I will not talk until I look for my head. I didn't see it. That is what many of our people, that is the way they behave. Until you look your head, you didn't see it. Now you act. And you see it. This is rubbish. This is rubbish. Let the people continue speaking anyway. Don't wait until it happens to you now. Before, I didn't know, but now look, I see it. That is rubbish, pure rubbish. Let me continue, please. Nigeria excess crude account drops from $35.7 million to 376,000. The caliphate, they are looting. In Nigeria now, operation loot as you can. Anything in your hand, loot. A country, excess crude account. Today, Naira is 710 to $1. And before Buhari enter, I promise that he will make $1 to 1 Naira. And you see monkeys believe it. I look at Nigerians as babies. Like your baby of 5 years, you can promise, if he's crying, you are moving out, you cry, you want to play, you say, no, stay. Don't worry, if I'm coming, I'll buy you a aeroplane. You will become happy. Hey, daddy, daddy will buy me a aeroplane. You will use it to fly. You fly. Hey, you paint the thing for the child, and you paint that lie for the child, and the child will believe it, because he's innocent. His brain never starts capturing to process words and things, reasoning. He never, he's not mature enough. So he profits. That is exactly what politicians do to Nigeria. Nigerians, they are like that. Oh, people say how he will make Nigeria a paradise under 4 years. Now, they have forgotten the promises of late Buhari. They have forgotten. They still believe. They don't ask crucial questions. Oh boy, Oga, how are you going to do this? Are you going to bypass the senators that will fight you? How? Or the House of Assembly members that they will fight? Don't you think that this is a democracy where the judiciary, the legislature, they are different? They have different powers. Or are you going to just come and command everybody? How are you going to close the borders? Are you going to be in Aso Rock now? You'll be monitoring borders of Adamawa and the Sokoto and the whole north, so that terrorists will not be coming in. Is that what you are going to do? How are you going to? All these promises, guy, is very fantastic. But how are you going to do it? Because people don't reason in Nigeria. They are like babies. They are carried away by sentiments. They don't know that talking is free. Unless you are talking on the telephone, you pay little money. Otherwise, talking is free. You talk. I will water you and fire you. When what is the name of this Yoruba man of APC? Before they enter office, he said that any person, any regime that cannot give Nigeria electricity, that if they enter and they cannot provide electricity under 6 months, that Nigeria should stone them. Now, can you come out to protest? Can you come out to protest? If I say Muslims don't protest, they only go to mosque and pray for their political leaders, their rulers. That is what I'm telling you. They convert everybody into feudal system in Nigeria. Forget about what they say democrat. That is rubbish. Rubbish. So all this good mouth, sweet mouth, I will do this, I will do that. Till now, Nigerians are still not matured enough to ask questions. Oh God, how are you going to do this? Looking at the situation of the country, looking at how people can sabotage you. How are you going to do this? When the imam will enter the mosque and preach to the people and say, this person is Arne, he's an infidel. So don't even if you build school for us, we don't take it until you move out. How are you going to solve that issue? Oh, you sweet talker. Oh, you will do this. You will bring the milk and turn Nigeria into a country flowing with milk and honey. And I look at Nigerians, I say, look, these people, they still lag behind. What Nigerians need to do is rise up and slaughter the politicians. I'm telling you. Rise up. What Sri Lanka did to their politicians, that is what the politicians in Nigeria merit. There is no, because these are the demons that are making life unbearable for you. We must continue. Now, excess crude account, $376,000 only. That is what is there. Justin, federal government to sanction BBC, Trust TV for glorifying terrorism. I played their documentary, which also I commend Biafrans. And we do more, as I said there before yesterday, during my last broadcast. We must continue calling, writing, testing BBC so that they continue making mistakes. Do you see the mistake they made? They go and interview terrorists. They interview them. They sat down with them to give them voice. We continue pushing them to make more mistakes. If you understand? They want people to start pitying the terrorists. Somebody say, I kill people, I lost count of killing people. You understand? That is it. It's their own fight. But for you to understand that BBC, we need to continue confronting them. Please, do not stop. Do not stop. Consistency is what we have. We should continue calling and troubling BBC. That is it. No immediate solution to aviation fuel or fuel crisis. Nigeria does not produce it. But they produce it. It's in their land, but they cannot produce it. Do you see Caliphate, the Fulani Caliphate, they don't know how to invest on human resources. They don't know that this is number one. Number one. For a country to develop, the people must, be invested upon. The brains must, human being. Once you invest on human being, now you forget about every other thing. Human beings start producing. That is it. But the caliphate, what matters to them is what is on the ground, what they can get on the ground. That is why they go anywhere, they usurp and go and occupy the land. Angola one time, they let Angolan president, Eduardo Santos. He understood this. He started seeing Fulani people going in the bushes of Angola. And after I said, these people from West Africa, what are they looking inside that we're doing in our bushes? They are going there, and before you know, they start burning from there. And the children they born, they claim right of citizenship. They are indigenous people there. That is how they behave. Before you know, that land belongs to them. Before you know, they start digging. Anything they see there is for them. No, Angola say, no. We are not West Africans that are docile. Started rounding, we're pursuing them like rabbits. Rounding them up and started sending them back to West Africa. Supporting them with this type of people. Because all that matters for them is what they can get in the land. Their brain, they see brain as is excess luggage. That they don't need it. It's just God. Call it Fulani person you see. Those cow rearers. Tell them that, look, do you see this? You have telephone. You say yes. Do you know that you yourself can manufacture this telephone if you study it? He will laugh and say, look, he will quote for you Quran where Allah didn't give them that gift. It's for white people. That is exactly how they are. That is what he will tell you. You never know that once you invest on human beings, finish. Now, human beings will start producing things. That is the difference between them and we. I don't know. Now there is another terrorist attack in Owo, and police are doing investigation. They say they are doing investigation. But I think the other day I read a crack team, a well-trained crack team of Nigerian police. They killed six kidnappers in Cross River. These are innocent people they will kill. They call them crack team. Well-trained. Where are the well-trained crack team of Nigerian police and military? They were investigating that the former war attack where many were slaughtered. More than 50 were slaughtered. They are still investigating, and this one took place. Don't you see that there is something, there is an agenda they are carrying? Yeah, what is that? Okay, they combine now the former investigation with the new one, right? Honestly speaking, we must continue. We must continue. FN explains a spelling error on kids as Amusan departs for England. When you read this, you laugh. The person that got a gold medal in a race that was going on, the Nigeria they put there in the JC that cost, if not millions and millions and millions. There is a spelling error. Nigeria is no man's business. Honestly, Nigerians are stupid, still relying in Nigeria. When you look at this, they say even when you read the body of the news, they say many of all these athletes were they were having visa problem. They were refused visa to England. That is what England, what United Kingdom wants. They give you visa, you hustle for visa, they will refuse and talk to you politely. Try again, you understand? Have you seen an English person that is refused visa to Nigeria before? Have you seen? Now I saw United Arab Emirates saying, announcing that there is any Nigeria visa suspension for Nigeria, every Nigerian. And that brings me, like in my the topic we are going to discuss. What are anyway, let me leave it now. Let me leave it. I will talk about it in full later. I don't know, Mazi Austin Cheka, do you have anything to add before we go direct into the topic of our submission, please? Do you have anything to say?
Yes, Mazi, I am quite following various news headlines you've been outlining, and of course, it's really heartbreaking to say what the least. Especially various issues developing every day in, day out. One will keep asking if the country called Nigeria is part of the earth. I think that's what every genuine mind will ask. having, listened to various news headlines you outlined, one would be forced to ask, is there any country on this planet Earth called Nigeria? Because, it's really contradictory that things like this are happening, and people also, boldly say they belong to this kind of country that is now an epitome of disgrace and shame to what humanity stands for. So it's really, really, but I want to really touch on the press statement by leadership of indigenous people of Biafra. I want to commend Mazema Powerful for, I think, crafting a well-dictioned press statement. That press statement is really amazing, considering the fact that Abuja is under siege, no doubt about it. And it's also important the words to be put on notice, considering the fact that everything happening within Abuja shows that people living in Abuja are like a cycled death, living under turmoil of fears and anxieties. Nobody knows what might be the next area of actions of these jihadis and terrorists. But pointing out some of the things Powerful outlined, I think it shows that it's a very strong statement to say about the least, considering the fact that the United Nations has taken a very strong position on this issue. And prior to this time, we also have to also understand that European Parliament, a parliamentarian of European Parliament has also made such an appeal on the floor of European Parliament to the Nigerian state. And today we are seeing the multilateral international platform which the United Nations stands for, also bringing into the notice of the Nigerian state. And of course, we also have to understand that Nigeria is a signatory to UN, especially when it comes to UN Human Rights Watch. Nigeria have ratified all the treaties that governs UN Human Rights Watch. So, if UN has given a position, I think Nigeria should show a sign of being a responsible member state of the United Nations by duly doing the needful. Very, very important, because this is issue of exigency, man. This is an issue of necessity, because from what Imam Powerful outlined, he had a very strong reference points, considering the fact that hallowed places have been attacked, like NDA, Nigerian Defense Academy, Zaria, and notable places, including Kuje places. So who said DSS facility cannot be, polarized? Considering the fact that we have also had cases of insiders working in synergy with these terrorists. So Mako, I think, established a very strong, undisputable reference points. And I think we must also understand that the world is not sleeping over this matter. I always tell our people, especially those who care to listen, I'm not talking about those with baby minds. Because you did talk about methodology. Remember, you talked about, I think, method of the terrorists. And we should also not overlook the fact that our methodology is also strong and advanced. So, pointing out that fact to the Nigerian state, I think Nigerian state should admit that when it comes to issue of security, that she has deported. and do the needful. And what is the needful? Entrusting the safety of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If I'm to say, either entrusting it to the second party, which is IPOB, to entrusting the security of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to the second party, which is IPOB, or entrusting it to the third party here, which is United Nations. I think these are strong factors we need to consider, because by all definitions and characterizations, it is obvious that the Nigerian state security, especially when it comes to the seat of power, which is Abuja, is now polarized. Nothing anyone can do about it. And also, Mazi Powerful reminding them, pointing to them that IPOB's business is not about stopping the terrorists from taking the entire seat of power. It's also intending, because it's also a way of defining our modus operandi. It's not our business to stop them if they wish to take over the seat of power, just the way they did in, what's it called? They did in Afghanistan. It's none of our business. And Mazi Powerful also pointing the fact to the terrorists, invading terrorists, and their collaborators in Abuja, that this is not our area of interest. If you want to overrun Abuja, that is your business. We are not interested to stop you, because IPOB is not interested to deploy her assets and facilities towards stopping you're taking over Abuja if that is the best thing you guys want to achieve. But what we are saying is that we have a noble personality in Abuja that must not be touched. Very, very important. That must not be touched. So I comment that press statement on a very reasonable height. And I also want to talk briefly on issue of sovereign wealth, the liquidation of foreign reserve. Mazi, everything is happening. This is my personal submission, of course. Everything is happening based the way Elohim has mapped out everything. If Nigeria is economically viable, trust me, we would have also have a very difficult path to still press on. You should know that when a country is economically destroyed or ruined, just the way Nigeria is today, because a country is rated by what she has in her reserve. That is just one ways at which countries are rated. Your foreign reserve, the weight of your foreign reserve is tantamount to the weight of your respect among Community of Nations. So we are seeing Nigeria depleting from over $3 million to about $300,000. This is a country we're talking about. We are not talking about local government reserve. So that shows you the level at which things have deteriorated, the level at which the country have been mesmerized. It shouldn't be our headache. I posted something recently trying to give a quick analysis of economy of the regions in Nigeria. It shouldn't be our headache to be sympathetic on their depleting assets, especially when it comes to foreign reserve. The more they deplete, the more they become less attractive to foreign actors, Mazi. So if they are going to deplete more, let them deplete more. But when country becomes unattractive for foreign direct investors, for all kinds of international attraction, then people began to consider the fact that it is better we end this colossal liability. And that is where Nigeria is heading to. So people should understand the way things are working. And ask yourself, what actually depleted the foreign reserve? This is a question people are not asking. And they always tell you is because they are subsidizing the petrol. Ask yourself that. The next question you have to ask yourself, what is the liters of internal consumption of petrol per day? You will now understand that what they are subsidizing are mainly petroleum products that are going to Niger, Benin Republic, and Niger, Chad, and all the rest of them. And going through the Sahel. So Nigerian wealth is now an asset of the Sahel states. You see, there is a lot of disturbing things happening in Nigeria that, in fact, when one wants to say is a Nigerian, I don't know how to describe such phenomena. So these are the little I have to say as we proceed on other developments.
Thank you very much, Maazị Chika. We must continue. As I said, the topic of our discussions today is the need to focus on our common national interest. When we talk about national interest, people don't understand mainly. They look at it very light. They need to focus on our common national interest. The national interest encompasses the political interest, security interest, economic interest, cultural interest, and other interests of a country. Now, in Nigeria, we have no common national interest because of our divergent values. While we Biafrans believe in being industrious and in healthy competition for advancement, the Fulani Caliphate believes in stagnation and remaining in whatever misery they find themselves for centuries and for generations, because they believe that it is the will of their Allah. That is why they call, you see, Ahmad Bello said that Igbos are domineering, that if they enter into a company as an ordinary worker, hand worker, he will come out to be the head of the foreman. He wants to be the head of the foreman. And you ask, is there anything wrong in aspiring to advance? There is nothing wrong. But it's because the way they see things, the caliphate, if your father is a shoe shiner, his children will be shoe shiners. None will grow above shoe shining. They will even use it to give you a name. Maybe Bello than shoe shiner. They call it in their language. It's a shoe shining family. And that is it. No person should advance. That is where Allah has blessed you. That is their belief system. But we don't believe like that. We believe that your child will be greater, should be greater than you. We believe in competition, healthy competition. Although some people have taken it as they go back to primitive competition because of the Nigerian setting. But we believe in healthy competition. Now, the quest for the restoration of Biafra is a quest of galvanizing people of common national interest into pushing and working together for our collective advancement. In this case, we need to drastically step down our selfish interests. This is because we as a people can never advance with our selfish interests as priority. You see what I'm telling you? You see what I'm telling you? We can never advance as a people with our selfish interests as a priority. That is why, like you go to Onitsha, you see buildings. Some they build the houses in Gota because everybody wants his interest. So you go and bribe, and they allow you go build the house. That is when rain comes, no place for it to pass. That is what selfish interest, no common interest, because no galvanization, no organization. But IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has organized the quest for the Biafra restoration as a quest of galvanizing people of common national interest. into pushing and working together for our collective advancement. Because we have checked in Nigeria, we don't have the same mentality. We don't have the same interest. Why the Fulani, the Caliphate, the ones conquering, taking over people's land? We want to advance and be in the mainstream world to contribute to humanity. We want to invest in our brains on human resources, not only what your ground can give you. After all, many of us, most of us, I'm not saying many of us, almost all of us, Biafrans, no matter that you have a crude oil everywhere in Biafra land, do we know anything about crude oil? Are we getting anything from it? Every Biafran you see is self-made person. Do you see? That is the difference. Okay.
Yes.
Go on, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, go on.
I come in?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, you talked about national interests. If you look at us as a people, you know, sometimes we might get a wrong analysis by not tracing a problem from its etymological development, from the ab initio, so to say. You see, if you look at our own society prior to this time, our people, our ancestors, our fathers try to organically entrench what I might call national interest, if I should put by your own words. Prior to this time, our father, I'm talking about especially the pre-colonial society of ours. Our fathers were able to build a kind of communal system, a communal interest, and they organically developed that system to a point, you know, after the Civil War, because a lot of families were, their communal development was obstructed by the Civil War, by the Biafra Nigerian War. And after the war, there was a very unturning of our system, which most people don't understand. You see, when I look at some people's perception of this movement or how they view this movement, I tend to forgive them owing to the fact that a lot of things had happened to us as a people, and you know, there is no action without consequences. When a nation or a people were intentionally and consciously worked upon, the effects of those actions are always, seen on the offspring of those whom those actions were melted on. So, if you at the end of from 1970 upward till the time IPOB came up on stage, you would agree with me that after the Civil War, our people discarded that communal investment of national interest to individual pursuits. And those individual pursuits or unhealthy competition, so to say, was as a result of the degree of destruction, vicious cycle destruction, psychological destruction, material destruction, and what have you in our people. So there was this tendency it is a policy of British government that the best way to destroy these people is to balkanize them, is to divide them into piecemeals. And that's the succeeded in doing, to a point that if there is a problem, if not that IPOB came and started building those bridges in painful ways, because it has never been easy for IPOB. Prior to the emergence of IPOB, if something
Maz, are you still there?
something happens, for example, in a place like Arochukwu, a man in Onitsha might not bother to care what is happening. Why? Because prior to the emergence of IPOB and in the post-Biafra Nigerian war society of ours, individualism was entrenched. People began to talk about clanism like you pointed my attention some time ago. So what IPOB is really reorganizing this our society. There is a rearrangement, a reorganization to who we used to be before the Civil War, to whom we used to be before the policy of organization. And one of those things IPOB is doing today is bringing us back together. Amazi, until that project of unification is achieved, the project of Biafra restoration will still find its difficulty. Because we are talking about national interest here. First of all, you need to get a nation on one space, on one front, on common ground. Then you draft what their interest should be. If you look at us as a people, the outgoing generation, I'm talking about the age of our fathers, who are still embedded with that spirit of individualism and unhealthy competition, are still, not really integrating with the system that our own generation, through the strong work of IPOB and Mazen Namdekano, to orient us and give us the right direction and pursue for common goals of our nation. No longer the time of us, thinking about this state and this, all those artificial, instrument of divisions have been, jettisoned in our minds, courtesy of what this movement is all about. So, the first project, which I think we are doing greatly, is the project of bringing us under one name and under one umbrella. Because when you talk about Biafra, the British and Nigerian divided terms like Imo State, Abia State, Anambra State, and statism will fizzle out. We see ourselves, first of all, as Biafrans. Before people start falling to that nonsense called statism and all the rest of them. So it's a very good starting point. Then the issue of interest, what our interests will be, can only be achieved or mainstreamed when that issue of unification is achieved. That's why I always tell people, I said, conservatively speaking, people, or mainstreamly speaking, people think that people understand that IPOB or say IPOB as a movement for the restoration of Biafra. That is on the passive definition of the struggle. But beyond passive definition of the struggle is various degree of unification projects IPOB have been achieved. Because prior to this time, we have been divided on the state lines. We've been divided on so-called time union lines. We've been divided on class lines. These are things we never had in our primordial societies. We never had them. But these people came, they divided us on state line, divided us on class line. Some people believe that they have Abuja connection, and those who have their village connection can fizzle out. But what IPOB is doing greatly is to eradicate all those colonial nonsense. Yes, imperial nonsense. And it's not an easy task.
Of course.
It's never an easy task because these people, you know, when a slave gives birth to a slave, what happens is that he transfers by DNA the servitude mentality he has in his bloodline into his offspring. You know, that happens. Now, what happened in the minds of a lot of us prior to the emergence of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB is the transferring of that servitude mentality, divisive mentality, unhealthy competition mentality, and individualism from our parents to us. So it took a man who understood the socio-psychological dimension of our problem to get rid of this nonsense. If not, Mas, I believe if you are from Abia, I don't think there is any platform you and I can talk about national interest. Before the emergence of Nnamdi Kanu and this movement, you would have even been drawing the division from the state level, being Union of Ondabia. Then you move it down to Union of Ozakol. Maybe from Ozakol, you move it down to Union of your own village. So we were eagerly driving the scissors of division prior to this time, even to our father's kitchen. We divide from state to local government, to kindred, then to our father's belly. But thank God for this movement. And if there is anything that is giving the imperialist powers concern currently, it's not because IPOB has any armament. That is not what is giving them concern. It's not because IPOB has a higher foreign reserve than the depleting Nigerian government. No. One of those things that is currently giving them worry is the unification project IPOB is carrying, destroying the colonial structures of division among us. Okay, just say for instance, let's look at the mainstream structure. Are you aware, Master, that the governors of so-called Southeast, most of them are not in talking?
Most of them. It's all of them. They are not in working relationship with each other.
That of Imo is in Cold War with Enugu. That of Ebonyi is in Cold War with Abia. They are highly divided, and the more they are divided, the more they find it difficult to present a common national interest to the outside forces. And that side forces enjoy it, but they understand that the structure they have created, you can hear Dave Umahi saying that, trying to say people are marginalized by the rest of their brethren in the Southeast. You can see how they were cultured, what they were trained to institutionalize in our land. This is what IPOB is destroying. Because until you get the people on common front, you can't talk about national interest. There's nothing called national interest in disembarked society. Why Nigeria does not have any viable national interest today is because you have no one to project. Are you going to project Igbo's interest? Are you going to project the Hausa Fulani interest or even the Yoruba? It's even a difficult thing to streamline these various interests together. And that's why Nigeria cannot tell you this is the center of their foreign policy. Because if they are going towards Middle East, The Igbos will be agitating. You are going towards Islam. I don't understand me. So the same thing applies to us. That's why what IPOB is doing is commendable. Because IPOB is first of all destroying the primordial impediment. And that primordial impediment facing us is this idea of artificial divisive mechanism, statism, clanism, like rightly pointed some time ago, kindred and all this nonsense. And that project, which IPOB is on a high, achievement on it, is really giving the imperialist forces a concern. Master, I tell you that.
Of course, so, it's giving them a heavy concern, not a small one. Now, as I was saying, the quest for the restoration of Biafra is a quest of galvanizing a people of common national interest into pushing and working together for our collective advancement. Okay, in this case, we need to drastically step down our selfish interests. That is number one criteria. This is because we as a people can never advance with our selfish interests as priority. Let me give you an example of what I'm saying. Having a huge generator that provides you in your village as an individual, that big huge generator provides you 247 electricity year in, year out, while others around you in your community cannot afford same thing. That thing still puts you as one of the poor people. That is the reality. Now, another example which I wanted to say in the news. Dubai announced the suspension of issuing visas to Nigerians. There is no distinction between rich and poor Nigerians as long as UAE is concerned. Once you carry a Nigerian passport, you're a Nigerian. So their suspension also applies to you. It doesn't matter how much money you have. The only thing the rich ones or some rich ones with double nationality will do is simply switch on using their other nation's passports in order to be allowed to do